So, you know that moment during sex where suddenly you become aware of yourself? And instead of feeling things, you're wondering how your stomach looks, or whether you're taking too long, or if you sound sexy enough. Or maybe your partner says something like, "Tell me what you want." And your mind goes completely blank. Not because you don't have desire, but because you stopped feeling and started monitoring. So if you've ever wondered, why can't I fully let go during sex, or why do I stay so in my head, this episode is going to explain why this happens to so many women and what actually helps you start feeling present, relaxed, and connected again. Barbara, this whole episode is about the truth that most women are monitoring themselves more than inhabiting themselves. Like, this is something I've observed over and over. I've had my own experience of it. It's something that is reflected back to me from my clients and the women in the sisterhood all the time. And so what I'm wondering is, do you think that most women even realize how much of sex is spent mentally monitoring themselves instead of actually feeling? Like, do they even know that this is a thing?
Deep breath in. This is like such a profound question. And I'm so happy that you're asking it. We're talking about it because it's something to not skip over. And I think that most women call it low libido. But what's
Mm.
actually happening is they're running a full time surveillance system in their own body. And I know this from personal fucking experience, just like you
Yep.
just said. Like,
Okay.
it is like I'm in my head. Do I look hot? Is he enjoying this? Does he think I look hot? Like, oh my God, does my tummy look flat enough? Like, my tits, am I being sexy enough? Um, like a minute of like self love for myself, my past self right now. And for like doing that to myself, because so much of that insecurity was never yours to begin with. It was never mine to begin with. It came from social constructs and lies and beauty standards, like purity culture, porn culture, and all of the ways we were as women taught to see ourselves from the outside instead of from feeling myself instead on the inside.
Yeah.
So during sex, a woman may be trying to manage these they're lies. Like, just so everyone's clear, these are lies, okay? False insecurities while pretending she's enjoying herself. This creates an experience of incongruence. One part of you is trying to look open and sexy and surrendered and pleased, right? While another part of me is like bracing, analyzing like all of the shit and just trying to survive like the experience because there's so much happening in here, but then I also have to like be looking like I'm really into it out here, and that's exhausting. That's so much energy. Instead of being truly in pleasure,
Yeah.
it's not just performance, it's survival performance. There is a distinction, right?
Yeah.
It's survival, which is why, like, of course, by the time you get to a certain age, why the fuck would you want to have sex? You're surviving in the rest of your life, like that. Like, why would you even want, like, in those conditions? Your body is smart enough to be like, don't even put me in that because you don't know how to have pleasure. You
Totally.
haven't really.
Actually, that's a good point. I want to like double click on this because I think sometimes when we start talking about this in the context of intimacy, in the context of sex, right? Some women fail to see that this doesn't just happen in the bedroom, that this is a pattern that you're playing out everywhere else and in the bedroom. You're just noticing that there's a problem in the bedroom. And that's making you kind of question your libido, your hormones, like what's wrong with me? Am I broken? But the truth is that this constant self-monitoring, constant evaluating, constant like, am I being too much? Am I
Yeah.
being, too sexy? Am I being not humble enough? Am I taking care of everyone else? How does this person feel about me? he's looking at me weird. I think maybe the vibe is off. I should do something about that. Like this constant, right? Like evaluating, and we don't realize how much of it's going on. And then we get to sexy time with our partner. And like that hasn't just, you can't just shut that off. It's still
No,
playing in the background.
no,
And now it gets really loud because in
really.
the bedroom, that's all that's going on, right? In theory, there's not all this other stuff, but your head has this long to-do list and you're judging things and you're remembering and you're not fucking there. So of course you don't want that. Of course that doesn't
Right?
feel good. That doesn't feel like pleasure, you
And
know?
like, let's take so good. Thanks for the reflection. Yes, yes, yes to all of it. Hopefully, I know some of you out there listening, and that is deeply resonating. And I want all of us to just take 2 minutes and celebrate that our bodies are smart enough to be like, I'm not going to put myself into the bedroom with my partner to have sexy time because I'm exhausted of monitoring. That's actually the first step into recreating your relationship with pleasure and sex and your body and all of that stuff, because you can't get there from where you were before.
Yeah.
Your body, this is your body's wisdom of like, do not go there. You're tired of monitoring. And like, that's a huge deal. Like, the body cannot fully open when the mind is busy managing the image. It's too much work. It's too much energy. It's too much over functioning. Like, this is why women aren't turned off because they're broken or something is wrong with them. They're turned off because they don't feel safe enough to stop controlling the moment and actually receive it. It's fucking exhausting. And like, this is like the thing. If you are truly present in your body at sexy time, this is where the biology comes in. This is where I'm going to get like, this is like where the body is so real. And this is so important. Dopamine creates desire. It's the I want more chemical. Oxytocin creates I trust you. I feel held. Endorphins create pleasure and relief. I feel good. I can relax here. Serotonin creates satisfaction. Like, I feel deeply satisfied. I can settle. And prolactin, which is I'm like, you're like amazing at, you are like a prolactin expert, creates the afterglow where it's like, I'm complete. I'm the afterglow hormone. Marta has a prolactin like radar. If someone has,
Me
she's like,
too.
you got laid. Like, she will stop someone on the street and be like,
I can
yo,
smell
good
it
for
a mile
you.
away.
Good for you. And then finally there's vasopressin, and vasopressin supports attachment, and it's really apparently more considered for the male. It's the male hormone release, and that it's important so that they want to take care of you. That is the one that makes them want to protect you, which is good because when you have a baby, that's part of all of that. So there's a biology for this. Sex isn't just an act of pleasure. It's chemistry. It's a holy and sacred spell. It's a cocktail. The dopamine says I want more. Oxytocin says I trust you. Endorphins say I can relax. Serotonin says I feel satisfied. Prolactin says I'm good. So if self-monitoring comes into play, it will be counterintuitive. You cannot get that cocktail won't blend.
Yeah, it shuts it all down because pressure shuts down the nervous system,
Exactly.
shuts down all those good pleasure chemicals. And the truth is like when your body feels watched, like, right, if someone's watching you, it's much harder to soften and relax because you can feel the eyes on you. It makes you self-conscious. What we've effectively been doing is watching ourselves, is
Yes.
creating that self-consciousness, imposing it upon ourselves. And then we're like, wait a minute, why is my breath shallow? Why is my stomach clenched? Why do I feel numb? Why do I freeze? Because you're watching yourself so hard, right?
Well, it's like you're watching yourself from a critical lens versus
Yes.
witnessing yourself having pleasure. So there's two different things. It's not that you shouldn't watch yourself, but if you're going to do it from a critical lens, you're going to fuck it. You're going to fuck yourself. If you're not going to do it from approval and presence,
Yeah.
like a witnessing, a neutrality, Like, that's it. But of course, you're going to do it from a critical lens because that is how we were raised, to watch ourselves from a critical lens and monitor, what am I doing wrong? Like, if anyone's listening, and these are questions that me and Marta constantly ask ourselves all the time, like, okay, how often are you like, what am I doing right? How often are you like, wait, how hot does my body look in this moment? Look at how hard his D is. Like, his physical experience should be enough proof to you, even if not. I mean, even if his physical experience is not proof to you. Like, you are a goddess in front of this mere mortal. Your body can make a
Exactly.
life.
Exactly. That's what I say to myself every time.
Exactly, like exactly. Your body can create life, like life, whether you choose to do it or not.
Yeah.
Like your AI has not been able to do that yet. Like
No.
your body not only can create life, it can birth it and have an orgasm at the same freaking time. He is a mere mortal. You are a goddess, okay?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
like your thoughts are not congruent with your like real life experience. When you
Yeah.
are criticizing from that critical lens, you are totally, it's this is what's happened is like you are interrupting the chemistry of the desire and bonding hormone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like you are interrupting, it's the truest reason women do not have sex, because they are at war with the biology of their body's makeup.
Yeah.
So, like, and then they would like, it's like, which is really smart. But unfortunately, instead of being like, I'm being at war with my biology, right? Like, if I get into my head, and even after all of this work, even though like all of this stuff, there are moments where I could still get into my head too during like a sexy experience.
Mhm.
Like, I don't, thank God. And part of the gift of this work is being like, I'm not like, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. Like, it must be my libido. I'm like, I just need to take a step back and collect myself. Like, it's like
Yeah.
just like, if you are not
Okay.
into it, if like the stuff, if the, it's like basically this is the message is like, if you are in a place where you are like, I'm not enjoying this, I'm in my head, there's a lot happening, and you start to hear thoughts like it's a libido thing, just stop everything. Just stop everything, because you're too in your head, and moving forward actually makes it worse from that place. Like,
Yeah.
I just stop everything, and it's really about quieting this. It's about being with this. Something, your body, something's going on, and giving yourself the space to receive. Like, why can't I allow myself to want more? Because that's
Yeah.
what oxytocin says. Why can't I allow myself to trust this right now? That's,
Yeah.
that's like the I want more is what dopamine says, but the oxytocin says, I trust this, And those are the two most important hormones in that cocktail, is like, first you got to have desire. You got to feel like in alignment with, I want this. My body wants this. And oxytocin is like, I trust this experience with this person. I trust
Yeah.
them. They got me. And if you don't have those feelings, those sensations, it's you're blocked by shame, fear, survival
Yeah.
performance. The body can't fully soften into arousal. And a woman, when she feels desire and safety at the same time, that is the dopamine hit. That is the oxy hit. That
Yeah.
it's both
Yeah.
inside of her. Yes.
Yeah. And I want to talk about how, why does this come up so often in midlife versus earlier in life? It's a question I've pondered. It's a question I've been asked. I've had a lot of women lately who are joining the Sensual Sisterhood who are under 40, who are in their 30s somewhere and are blessedly discovering this educational content way ahead of schedule. But I'm bringing it up because what you were saying about safety and like that is a requirement for you to get out of your head and get into your body and really feel sensation and experience deep pleasure. Um, I think the fact is that a lot of women's early sexual experiences did not have the ingredient of safety. They might still not have the ingredient of safety, or they might, but definitely I feel like I don't have actual data, like I haven't conducted the
Right.
study, but I'm pretty confident that that is a true statement, that most women's early sexual experiences were not ripe with safety. That's not the culture we grew up in. It's not the culture we're even in now. Um, and so the monitoring starts early on. The lack of like, I can surrender and soften and receive, it's not even there. You don't even know what that feels like. You've never had it. You haven't had it since you were in the fucking womb, potentially. So of course we don't have it, and so we continue down this path. And then when we hit midlife, a lot of the like, I've had enough, like fuck this shit kind of comes
Yes.
up. And
Yes.
maybe you're lucky enough to have the experience of being in a safe container, being held, being whether it's because you decided to do something like really wild and crazy, like go to a BDSM retreat, or maybe it's because you happen to have a lover who was able to provide that containment. So you have your first experience of really being held and seen and feeling like you can soften. That's what happened for me. That can change everything, right? And so now you stop spending sex in here, narrating the experience, evaluating your own body, your performance. Is he happy enough? Am I taking too long? And instead, this isn't the only thing this is doing is going, wow, oh, more. Yes, slower, whatever, right? And the body is the one that's driving instead of the mind slamming on the brakes. I just feel like it's so important to point that out because
Yeah.
sometimes we're like, how did I even fucking get here? And the self monitoring, I feel like, spreads into everything. But I do want to pause and just talk briefly about containment and surrender because, like, I think most of my adult life, I have not wanted to surrender, wanted to be in control, including in the bedroom. And I just find it so interesting that like for women, surrender feels so profound because it's one of the only times they stop monitoring themselves, right? Like it's one of the only times the nervous system can just go, I don't have to manage this. I don't have to hold this. I can finally relax while someone else leads. I can feel safe enough to stop like anticipating or trying to perform. But most of us don't get there because the whole like BDSM world is this whole other, and we'll talk about this in another episode. It's like this whole, it's kink, it's like this other realm. And the truth is that like your ability to be in your body, to surrender, to receive, these are all intricately linked. They are not separate things. And I just think it's like interesting that, we at the same time want to hold on to control and safety and hypervigilance because we think that's what's going to make us feel okay, when the truth is what we really want is to fucking unravel in someone else's arms and to be held through that. But you can't get that through here.
Right. And as someone like, I am trained in BDSM, and I do bring a level of containment to my clients virtually, outside of, or in person. And it's really important because that's where they start to learn what that safety is, and like letting go, like what you're talking about is letting go. And it's a letting go requiring deep, true safety. It's not just like basic, like, okay, not somebody's not going to put a gun on my head, or
Right.
like he's a nice guy safety.
Yeah. Yeah.
This requires, and this is the work. And this is the real deep, this is where you get the transformation. It's nervous system safety
Yeah.
combined with emotional safety, combined with somatic safety. That is a kind of safety where your body knows, I am free to be messy here. I can want here. I can make sound here.
Yeah.
I can stop survival performing here. Like, I am welcome in all of me. Oftentimes when I talk to men about these things, and colleagues who are experts in this and do what we do for men or in the BDSM world, they all say they think the most beautiful women are the ones that let themselves be the messiest in bed. That's a tip.
Mhm.
They're
Yes. Say
they're
that again for the girls in back. I want everyone to hear this.
I know, like they're not like, oh my God, she's so perfect. Like
Right.
her hair was in perfect place the whole time. Her lipstick, they're like, and like, I mean, I brag. That's the compliments. Like that's the compliments that I've gotten. Like I feel, oh my God, a little shy admitting that, but it's like when you let yourself be sweaty, and like this, like just like,
When
like
you can lose your voice from so much moaning and
yeah,
crying.
and you just like let the sounds, whatever they are, come out when you're like, ugh, like whatever. You're not like thinking, was that a bad sound? You're just like letting it. You let because
Right, right.
that's
It's not
another
that controlled,
episode.
like,
That's when you really know when pussy's open is when your voice is sounding like that is, there's a direct correlation, and we should do that. That's like make a pin about doing another episode about that. But that in itself, that is deep safety. That is a result of understanding what deep safety is. It's the nervous system combined with emotional safety with somatic safety. That is why we do what we do. That is the most important thing about what we do is we have spent so much time and energy and like commitment, devotion to our own, learning what it is to be safe. I come from a place of many times in my life, I have been in places where I have been physically safe. There has been no harm. And I have felt unsafe. I was looking for exit doors. That's what I
yeah.
was doing in non sexual experiences,
Yeah.
in the most safest of places where nothing bad, was going to happen. I know what that is. That is trauma response. You don't feel safe. It's because you are in a trauma response. And if you desire to have optimum level pleasure and amazing sex and feel like a goddess that you are, you have got to find a way to allow that containment to happen, to
Yeah.
create that safety. Like that is what I deeply desire for all women to have, because when you can have that containment, why is it so important to surrender, to have that containment, to have that safety? That is where Eros rises. It
Yeah.
arrives there. That's where turn on, you don't have to force it. It's
Yeah.
not, it just naturally comes because you are so, again, it's the dopamine plus the oxytocin. I want this. I trust this. That is the safety.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, oh, like I'm wet. Ooh, like,
Yeah.
like that is like now we've got, we're good for
Yeah.
takeoff.
We're good.
We're
It's
good for takeoff. Wheels up, wheels up.
totally. Yeah. And what's funny to me is we don't realize this because everything is how productive have you been? What have you done for me lately? Right? Like the culture is so go, go, go. Everything's 24/7. The news cycle, everyone's available. I could text you anytime, right? We're so overloaded that we also look at sex and fixing whatever problems we have sexually as another thing to fix, as another problem to solve, as another like thing to add to the to-do list. And we forget that what you were just saying made me think of this, that this is a natural state. Like for you to be turned on and to have desire as a woman, for you to feel that arousal, not just about a man or a sexual experience, but about life itself, about something beautiful, about a beautiful piece of music or a delicious cupcake or some flowers or whatever. For that to happen, like you don't need to create that or force that. That is your natural state. The problem is all this other stuff is tamping that down.
Yeah.
Responsibility, patriarchy, cultural conditioning, your own self-criticism, self-doubt, hypervigilance, self-monitoring, all these things we talk about. And in every episode, I feel like we talk about this, that it's uh, any issue that you're having around sexuality. I shouldn't say any. There are some exceptions to this. Sometimes there's an actual medical problem and you should always have that investigated. But barring an actual medical problem where the system is actually broken, most of the time, when you create the conditions for that safety, for that containment, for that trust, for that ability to soften and receive, it just fucking happens. You don't have to try. The trying is in removing all of the barriers and trying to create more of those conditions. And so I think like this self-consciousness that is killing pleasure, that is the theme of this episode, is really just another way of saying like we all need to be present in our bodies, relax, slow down. Like right? It's like it's the same path back. Come back to your body. So let's actually talk about that. Let's wrap this episode
Yeah.
up with a
Yeah.
little bit around what can actually start helping. Like, how can women stop, drop the chatter up here and start thinking less about how sexy they are and actually feeling what they're feeling?
Right. I mean, this is going to sound simple, but when I first started doing it, it wasn't simple for me. It was work, and it's really about slowness.
Yes,
It's
it is.
slowing down, like slowing down long enough just to be with your own breath, like taking the breath right now, like do it with me. Ah, like really slowing down, not forcing confidence, not trying to be sexier, not performing. It's slowing down enough to actually feel the breath moving through the body.
Yeah.
It's actually slowing down long enough to hear the sound and just that, like letting the sound come out of you and hearing it. And that's it. Hard stop. No thinking about it. Not no judging it, right? It's actually slowing down long enough to feel the sensation
Mhm.
of just even doing this, just stroking the top of your finger,
Yeah.
experiencing the slowness in the touch. It's also consent, it's giving yourself permission to be witnessed with not being rushed, with the slowing down, with taking up space in the time, like letting it be luxurious. It's learning to notice where your body is saying yes, where it's saying no, where it braces, and where it melts.
Yeah.
So safety, it's built through devotion.
Yes.
Small moments where the body learns I can trust myself here. And when you do that, this is the magic of that. And I've experienced this in for myself of like, the more I do this, the more it's like pussy's talking to me, my body's talking to me, and it's like, thank you. Like it's thanking me for allowing it to have its experience. And it that builds so much trust in yourself, like so much. Like I feel it of like in the small moments of like, you let me have this, you let me take the lead, right? Like you let the mind take a back seat and you let me take the lead, and I thank you for it. And it starts to give back to you in the payoff of there is trust here. So now you open more. Now the pleasure gets deeper.
Yes.
It's a really beautiful thing because it's not, there's no ceiling to pleasure. So once you are devoted to building this safety in your body and through the small moments, because it's a journey, and by the way, that journey, it gets to be a pleasureful one. So that's the beauty of that. It's, the journey is as sweet as the destination. And it happens in those moments. And then it's like, oh my God, I trust myself here. And my body's like, thank you for letting me do this. Now you get a reward,
Yeah.
and you're rewarded by your body, and it's magic.
Yeah. And I want to also say, and this might be the final thing I want to like land this plane with because it's the bow on top. That when you allow yourself to really be present for sensation, when you slow down, as we've been saying, and you feel into your breath and you like you're really present for what your body is saying to you, it doesn't just impact your sex life. Like, yes, it will impact your sex life. You will experience more pleasure. You will have more intimacy. You will have better, stronger, more frequent orgasms. Like all the sex benefits, absolutely yes. But there's a much bigger impact here, and that is your aliveness. Like, this is the key to actually feeling fully fucking alive. The flatness you feel in parts of life, the meh, the I don't really care, the I don't even know what I want, all of that fades away. And what you're left with is like that true, vital, radiant, magnetic woman that you've always been, but that got buried maybe for a while under responsibility and conditioning and patriarchy and all this stuff, right? Like you actually become more alive, become more magnetic on top of having a better sex life. So there's no downside. Basically, it's
Yeah.
all upside.
And I do,
And
yeah, go ahead.
oh, no, you first.
Well, I like you go ahead, you go ahead. Just finish.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, and just as a reminder, you don't have to do any of this alone. We've given you a lot of things to process and experiment with and kind of reflect on in your own experience. But all of this happens much faster and is more clear and easier to really take into your body when you're doing this in sisterhood, when you're being witnessed by other women on the same journey, when you're witnessing other women go through this and go through the awkward moments of being self-conscious and then coming back to herself. That's exactly what we do inside the Sensual Sisterhood in our lives group sessions. We gather, we unpack this, we feel it, we use pleasure tools. This is work that is meant to be done with other women. So
Yes,
I'm just
thank
going to
you
leave
for
that plug
saying
there. If you're interested, you can follow the link below and come join us inside the Sensual Sister. Now, what were you going to say, Barbara?
thank you. I just want to say that when a woman starts trusting her own body again, her body starts trusting her. So it's that count, like it's a beautiful trusting when a woman starts trusting her own body, her
Yeah.
body trusts her back. That her body trusts her back. And that's when everything changes. That's when she stops survival performance, where she starts like deeply receiving. She stops chasing desire, she becomes the desire. And that is the portal, that is the dopamine, gives her the spark. It's the I want more, where she becomes one with the desire. And then the oxytocin gives her the safety. I trust this. I trust the intelligence of my desire. I trust me. I trust my body to hold this. I trust my body to follow this. And then your body is like, yeah, bitch, you got this. I got you.
Yes. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. That is a perfect way to wrap up this episode. I hope you got so much out of it. I hope you'll come join us next week or come play with us inside the Sensual Sisterhood right now. Links there below for you. Until then, have the most pleasurable week.